This is Anderson Penn's podcast episode 19 for Thursday, October 4th, 2012. This is Brian.
This is Lisa.
This is the Anderson Penn's radio network. Welcome. Welcome to the Detroit Penn Show Review Edition. You threw me off there.
I know.
It's a little bit late this week, but such that it is. Better late than never. And look at it this way, you get two podcasts within a few days. So we're going to talk about Detroit, which was this past weekend. And for us, it's relatively a short drive.
It was nice.
Yeah, actually. We arrived at the Met Hotel in Troy almost exactly 8 hours after our departure. And with the time change, it ends up being 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Relatively uneventful.
Which is always nice.
Yeah, I got a chance to get about a 45-minute nap in, and then I was good to go. Felt good. For once, Lisa actually let me drive.
I know, on the short ones you can drive. On the 22 hours, it's all mine.
Forget it.
Yeah.
So I pulled the last few hours of the trip, and so that was good. And no weather problems, clear skies, no rain, none of that stuff. So
nope, just one little glitch right at the end.
One little glitch.
The GPS. We pulled off the highway, and the GPS, instead of saying, turn left onto this road and then right onto the road that the hotel is on, it said, go off-road.
And we should mention that this is a brand new GPS that we bought actually 2 weekends ago, just before the Dallas show, and we bought it because the last one was so annoying. Anytime you would go pull off to get gas or get some snacks or something, it's a recalculating all the time, so over and over again. So we got a different one, and that was programmable, and this is the first thing that happens. So
it says go off-road. We, like Brian said, we got in about 1 o'clock in the morning. We had a reservation for Friday, but normally check-in is at about 12 noon, not 12 in the morning. We did manage to score a room, so we actually got some much-needed sleep since we'd been up since about 5 Thursday morning. Thursday morning?
Yeah, Thursday morning. Yeah.
Friday morning, we actually slept in, which was really nice. We woke up, went to the lobby just to see what was going on, ran into a couple Penn people. We did miss the continental breakfast that the hotel provides, so we ate in our room. Usually we bring muffins or something yummy, donuts or something. And then I don't know what we did until, I guess we just unpacked a little and... Yeah,
a little bit.
Unpacked the car a little bit.
We chatted with Bill Weekly, who was in the lobby for a little bit, and just kind of
Dave Ferguson as well.
Yeah, we kept it kind of low key.
Yeah, and then about 1 o'clock, we made our way to the trading room, got the 2 carts that had all our stuff, and started to get set up. Normally, it takes us about 3 hours. I don't know what we did differently, but we managed to get everything done and set up in about 2 hours, which was really nice.
Yeah. Maybe it was just because we thought about setting it up in advance.
We dreamed it.
We dreamt it.
Magic.
That's just probably what a good night's sleep will do for you. So
we should do that more often.
We should. The show officially opened around 3 o'clock. Traffic was light, but was steady all day.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So there's always somebody coming up to the table. There were some nice pens to look at. Of course, as most of you know, my usual rule is to look first, buy later, which doesn't always pan out.
Your usual rule, but rules are made to be broken.
And this is in Detroit is a heavy vintage show, so that makes it a little more difficult sometimes. I scouted out a couple possibilities, tried to stay true to the rule, but Lisa comes up to me about, I don't know, halfway through, and she says, kind of got that little smile on her face, and she says, I got you a present. So, and I'm like, okay, well, I know our one of our anniversaries is coming up, so maybe she got something for anniversary. No, it's no pen, she said.
Nothing major.
Yeah, and so I go back to the table, and she has for me a nice bottle of Montblanc Bordeaux, and this is the old style bottle.
The smaller one.
The smaller one, more round. And it's one of my favorite inks. And in fact, I had just been thinking earlier in the week when I inked up one of my pens with this that what's going to happen when I go through it. I don't know if the new ink is exactly the same. And so sure enough, she finds this on the table for it was at $5.
$5.
So
Score.
yeah, so it all was good. So. But,
let's see. After that excitement, the show closed around 7, and we covered up the tables, took a couple things back to the room, and then we went to dinner with Brian and Andrea Gray of Edison Pens and their little 7-year-old Andrew to the California Pizza Kitchen at the local mall. This was Andrew's first pen show, and he was very excited. All of us were pretty hungry after a long day of travel and setup and the show. So we had appetizers, pizza and pasta, some frosty malt beverages, and dessert. I think we all had some kind of dessert.
yes, I think we did. Yep.
It was yummy. Lots of discussion about pens, stuff that occurred during the day. We had a great time, including Andrew, who later told us he was stuffed.
Yep.
And with, the belly, I'm stuffed. There was a Lego store at the mall, and we tried to take him up there, but the mall, all the stores had just closed. So we went up. We could look into the glass windows, and we could see the employees, but they wouldn't open up just for Andrew, which I thought was really mean of them.
Yeah, it's and we should note if you haven't been to Detroit, that's a huge mall.
It's a big mall.
Big mall. Oh my goodness. We'll talk
Very
more
upscale.
about that in a bit. So we all parted ways once we eventually made our way back. Saturday morning comes early. We
Always does.
we were on our way down to get the continental breakfast that they have set up right by the front desk. But as we're walking to the front desk, you kind of have to walk by where the trading room is, and we noticed the door was open, so we pop our head in. Sure enough, there's some bagels and coffee in there. So we never actually made it down to the front desk. I don't know what else they had down there, but we never made it there. And pretty much, I think we stayed right from there. So traffic again, light but steady all day. No real complete lulls or dead spots, but you could, if you wanted to, get away from the table, walk around, chat with some of the other folks, which was kind of nice. I was chatting with a gentleman about some nice watches he had on his table. He had I may get this wrong, a Lecoutre, I think it was a Futurematic. Stunning watch. It has the winders on the back. He had a nice Bulova and a Seiko chronograph that I thought was actually pretty reasonably priced too. But Lisa's always telling me just get one of yours fixed.
You have so many. Do not buy another watch. Don't do it.
I don't have that many. I maybe have a dozen, maybe total.
And how many arms do you have?
How many pens do I have? How many fingers do I have?
Don't go there.
I'm not going to go there. Anyway, moving right along. So anyway, she tells me that, just get yours fixed. And then every time I see it at a pen show, that always rings in the back of the mind. Anyway, there weren't any additional dealers on Saturday. I don't think that weren't already there on Friday.
I don't think so.
But it was nice to go around and chat since Friday was kind of a short day. We had a chance to visit, of course, with fellow Appleton Pen Club member Mike Kirk. And at his table was Bob Everett, who is the son of Clyde Everett, who was the president of Schaefer Canada for many years. He was kind of cool to talk to. He had some pens with him, both Schaefer and non-Schaefer. One of them that was particularly spectacular was a I don't even want to call it a small, but it was a ring top. It's kind of a longer ring top with a gold-filled filigree pattern on it, and it was really, really a quite unusual pen. Self-filling nib, yeah. So that was cool. Mike had a couple of nice pens on his table as always. But this is funny. So I look in the case and I spot this Grishaber. It's a black chased hard rubber lever filler, and I have a couple of Grishabers. Actually, all of mine are eyedroppers. But I said, well, this is a nice pen. So I asked him, hey, can I take a look at it? And can I look at the Grishaber? And he looks at me like I'm from Mars. And he says, I have a Grishaber? I'm like, well, yeah. That's one right here in the case. It's this chased hard rubber one. He looks at it and he goes, let me take a look at that. He pulls it out, looks at it, gets the loop out. Swallow B. Leans over, puts it in his case on the floor.
Apparently, it is no longer for sale.
It was no longer for sale. So it was nice, help Mike find a pen that he didn't even know he had. Which, and that kind of thing kind of happens to some of us. After a while, we forget what we have. But
you were so close.
I was this close, and I was getting ready. That would have been on the short list. It really would have been. But you don't find a whole lot of Grishabers that are that nice. But anyway, who else was there? We had Mike Crut, a fellow Michigan club member, was doing a couple repairs there. He had an ultrasonic there.
Yep.
Paul Areno was there, and he has his usual assortment of nice pens. He had some cufflinks and some pins and some watches too.
Step away from the watches.
Jonathan Veli was present, and he now, as most of you know, he's the pencil guy, or he's one of the two pencil guys, and he had a more safety on his table, actually in Raleigh, that I looked at, and there was only one problem with it. It was missing the nib, but it was beautiful. And it had these two beautiful gold-filled repoussé bands. And I couldn't pull the trigger because I knew the cost of the pen plus the cost of trying to find the nib was going to be more than I wanted to pay. So I figured, well, maybe some show down the road he's still going to have it, and I'll be able to snatch it up. Well, in Detroit, he traded it, and so that was no longer a possibility. But he did show me what he traded it for, which was kind of cool. He hands me a wall mechanical pencil, and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm not terribly into pencils, but I can appreciate certainly what he's done for the community, and when he shows me something, it's always spectacular.
Really cool.
And he shows it to me, and I'm like, oh, it looks like it's like an acid etched kind of thing. And he goes, no, it's not acid etched. He says, and he pulls on another pencil out, and he says, so take a look at this one. And what he had was a pencil that was engraved prior to being, it was like stenciled prior to being hand engraved. So like they started it and they didn't finish it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. What else? Jerry Adair. A man's going to be the death of me yet. Wow. Where to start with him? He had some Vacuumatics. Nice selection. I mean, he's one of these guys. He's got so many pens. He's got the trays are stacked on top of each other. You go to his table and you're like, well, you got to move stuff around so you can see it. And a large selection of hard rubber stuff. And of course, he's right across the aisle from us. So I get to see him and I'm like thinking.
Hence the torture.
Yeah, well, and he had actually he had some pens that I've seen before. And he does go to a number of shows. I know he's going to be in Columbus coming up, so maybe we'll hit him up there. But he had a nice Waterman 16 eyedropper with a nice gold-filled band. He had a nice Waterman 12. I just couldn't pull the trigger, and so... and I keep in mind, I hadn't bought anything yet by this time, and I go back to the table, and I'm like, yeah, well, what should I buy? This one? Should I buy the other one? And I don't want to spend a lot of money. And at least she just looks at me.
This is so classically us.
and in wisdom beyond her years, she says, buy the one or both that you're going to complain about less.
I said get the one you're going to whine about the least.
I cleaned it up. So I'm like, well, that's pretty smart.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about non-buyer's regret. So whichever one you're going to complain about more, if you leave it here, go buy that one.
Right. So I said, okay. I think we got busy there for a while, and then I decided, okay, I'm going to go back. And actually, he was with somebody else, so I just kind of let him do his thing, and before I went over yet again to his table, because I'd been over there like, I don't know, a dozen times.
Yeah.
He also had, I should mention, he had an amazing Wort filigree eyedropper, which was right on the limit of what I wanted to spend. And then he had one other pen. And so I go over to the table and I'm thinking, all right, so I'll get the 16 and I'll get the 12 and it'll be a real nice set because I have a Waterman 12, I've got a 13, a 14. I don't have a 15, but I have a 17 and an 18, so 16 will fit in there real nice.
Sounds like a flush or a straight or something.
Yeah. So I walk over there and I mean, we're talking. This is what 10 feet across the way. Not even. I changed my mind halfway across the aisle,
which is pretty typical for Brian. He agonizes over this decision.
So I walk over there, and I remember to myself. Well, he had the first two pens I saw of his on Friday was this Wort, and then he had this other pen. This one right here.
There you go.
This is the winner.
The winner or the whiner?
Both, I guess. I just couldn't resist. The price was right. It's an Aikin Lambert, of course, eyedropper, and this is such a lovely pattern. And actually, this particular pattern was used by a number of high-end companies. Parker made a filigree pattern just like this. I have a Weedlick matchstick filler that has this exact same pattern on it. And then I have an unmarked one, which may very well be another Aikin Lambert, but it's a kind of a short pen. But they're all exactly the same. And what makes it really spectacular is, and there are pictures up on the blog you can see, is all the work that's in the edges it's not just cut out. But everything is hand done. It's really spectacular. It is engraved. Whoever Roy was very deserving apparently at the time of such a fabulous pen. So this is the pen that wins out for Detroit for me. So
the Whiner Award.
Hey, if this is the award for not whining, I will gladly do that again. So very happy to have added that to the Aikin Lambert collection. Very nice pen.
So you got a pen and some ink.
I got a pen in one of my favorite bottles of ink that I never expected to see. So,
I know. So that was a good show.
Yeah.
I don't have a list like Brian does really all that much when we go to shows. A couple things, but I just let things talk to me, which is a story in its own.
They have pills for that.
I know. I've started a little mini collection of Montblancs. What do we have? 2?
I have this one.
And I have another one somewhere. So maybe together we have 2. But I like the Montblancs that don't look like the typical black precious resin Montblancs. So I was kind of eyeing a couple that I saw. One was a gray 200 series from the 70s. It had a really interesting finish, like a satin matte or like almost like a shark skin kind of feel. It was really kind of cool.
Yeah, it was kind of a matte.
Like the Lamy 2000. Mm-hmm. Another dealer, I think it was Don Castle.
Yes, that was Don. Yep.
Okay, had a pair of slender Montblanc cartridge pens, similar to somewhere in between a Schaefer Targa and a Sailor Shalana. They were tall, skinny. One was kind of a a burgundy red, and the other was kind of a brown. Both of them were kind of muted. And I must have, I pulled a Brian, and I must have gone over to Don's table probably 6 or 7 times, making the round. But Don's table faced away from us so I could shop and keep an eye on our table at the same time. So I thought that was kind of win-win. The brown had, I think, a stub nib.
Yeah, it was nice. Big stub. It was like this wide. Well,
Which is completely wasted on me. The red one had a fine nib, and I kept going back until Don threatened to start charging me for looking. So I ended up buying my little pen.
Ta-da!
It's kind of a cool color, and it's got the little star, but it's not screaming precious resin Montblanc.
It's got the star on the top of the cap. I can't remember. Does it have it on the bottom too, or no?
Yes, it does.
Oh, it does. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what model that is. So if
I don't know,
any of you serious Montblanc collectors are probably just going to be laughing at us for buying a cartridge pen, but it is kind of a cool pen. It writes well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that soon we're going to have a drawer in the pen chest, which has 28 drawers?
25, I think.
Something.
Yeah, 24.
I think our growing collection of 3 or 4 total Mont Blancs might need its own drawer soon.
Well, it's a slow growing collection.
Yeah.
And these are actually harder to come by than you might expect. So, we get a couple a year, that'll be all right. So.
Yeah. And eventually, I think the pen tray holds how many? Like 100?
Each one is 115, 120, something like that.
It's a whole lot of shows.
That's a whole lot of shows, yeah. Lisa, and I was actually kind of starting to pull a Lisa too, because I'm like, just go buy one, or just tell me which one you want. Tell me which one you don't want to buy, because you don't want to buy it, and I'm just going to go and get it. So.
Well, we have an anniversary in less than a month, so that would have worked. Now you got to come up with something.
Oh, crud. I wasn't thinking. All right.
But that was most of Saturday, just kind of stalking our pens.
Yep. At the end of the day, I guess everyone is packing up. A couple people had to leave early. We always, as long as we're there, we keep the table set up to the end of the show. I mean, we feel that if you're coming to the show to see some pens, we might as well be open for business. And there were still some people wandering around the room. In fact, I think not 5 minutes before the end of the show ending, we had some people walk in, and it always proves to be a successful tactic. Because you never know. I mean, we had some last minute sales that were 10% of the day's take, so to speak. But once the doors closed. We got everything packed up, toted it up. Well, I kept saying up to the room, but we were on the same floor, which was kind of nice.
It was nice.
And we were jonesing for some Chinese food. And we knew at the mall that they had a P.F. Chang's, which I didn't care one way or the other. I had been to a P.F. Chang's before. We don't have one here in Appleton. I'm not sure where the closest one is, but I had been to one in Chicago once. I thought, well, it was okay. So we said, well, we'll treat ourselves. We'll go. But before we go, we're going to make a couple stops first.
And I take the blame for the craving for Chinese. I don't know why, but the night before, I just had a craving for fried rice.
Yep.
And so we had dinner with Brian and Andrea the night before. This night it was just us. It was like, I could really go for some Chinese. We decided to stop first at Paradise Pen and then at Papyrus just to see what they had in stock and just to check out some stores that we don't have in the mall we have here in Appleton. They were open. The Mont Blanc store was closed. Then we went to P.F. Chang's, and they claimed they were busy. And the wait would be 1 hour and 15 minutes. But as we were walking out to go find something else to eat, we saw, 6 or 7 empty tables?
7 tables, yeah.
Which was kind of annoying.
No.
We were tired, and this mall is huge. In fact, part of the mall is on one side of the highway, and then you cross a skywalk. It makes you feel like you're in the airport with
the moving.
What are those? What are those called?
The moving walkways.
Yeah, the moving walkways. 3 of those across this highway to get to essentially the other mall on the other side of the street. So we burned off whatever we ate. We decided to go and find some kind of fast food. We stopped at this place called Chinatown in the food court,
which is on the exact opposite end of this whole place. So I mean, it was like we had to have walked. I'm just going to venture a couple miles, 2-3 miles.
Yeah,
just to get Chinese food
from the food court. It was not bad.
Yeah.
Not comparable, really,
No.
but there was no wait. The food was okay, and all we really needed was just something to eat, and it handled the craving, so
yeah,
it wasn't too bad. Then we went back to the hotel. The Met for the show has a really low rate, and we ended up spending the night, which is unusual for us. Normally, we leave the same night. We left early Sunday after a little bit of drama with the GPS. We stopped and had breakfast to ease the frustration, and then we ended up stopping at an outlet mall in Indiana, went to the Coach store, did a little window shopping in a couple other places. We like to just get out partway through the trip and stretch and just take a little break. And we managed to get home around dinner time.
I should mention, I got a text message from Mike Kirk today.
Do I want to know what he said?
Yeah. He says, by the way, I do read your blog. And he sent a picture of, I don't know where it was. It could have been this very store, the Coach store.
Oh. We stopped at Lighthouse Point.
I don't know where it was. I didn't get it from him.
I think Lighthouse Point is the name of it.
So anyway, all in all, it was a good show. It's nice to have something so close. It's like I say, it's a heavy concentration of vintage pens. There were some modern. In addition
they were all
to
ours.
Yeah, this is not entirely true. Mostly true. In addition to us, the other modern vendors, Brian and Andrea, of course, from Edison Pen. Bill Weekly had some, I guess, what you might call, Lisa calls vintage modern. It's modern stuff, but it's
10, 20 years old.
Yeah, it's no longer made, but doesn't really fit vintage. So, the vintage part was much to my liking. Very, very nice. With a little more traffic, maybe a little more advertising, I think it really could be a good show. And from what I understand, it used to be a good show. I mean, a really, really heavily trafficked, large show. So,
it wasn't a bad show.
No, it wasn't. I think if it continues to grow, I think we'd have another good regional show on our hands here pretty soon. But for now, we get about 5-6 weeks off before the grand finale for the year.
More like 5 now.
Is it 5 now? Yeah, I guess it's 5. Probably 5 from today. Yeah. Columbus.
Yikes.
So there it is. So this being Thursday, you're really going to have to really hurry and put it into high gear here for the back to school giveaway.
Dun ta da!
This week, I think we got 2 interesting entries which I didn't put on the blog, but you can mention. I don't think I have them here.
I don't think I remember what they are. We got one.
Well, they coincidentally happen to be brothers.
Oh my! Shout out to the Bylers.
A V-mail, original V-mail. And I don't know what the age is on the postcard that we got from Tim. 20s, maybe 30s?
Maybe
40s, maybe? Yeah, I mean, it's at least 50, 60 years old. Set of postcards.
A set of postcards in a sort of like a self envelope It was really cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
And even cooler that it was, is Arkansas, so where they're from. So,
Yep.
but until October 6th, which by the time you're going to hear this is going to be like, well, 2 days, a day.
Overnight it.
Overnight. No guarantee that it doesn't get you extra points or like the top of the pile or anything.
Yep.
But we'll accept the letters and postcards for the October 7th podcast drawing this Sunday. On that day, the winner is going to be offered his or her choice of the Monteverde Artista Crystal. We're going to throw in 2 packages of Pelican International cartridges and one of our very own Proper Pads notebooks.
The pen colors for the Artista Crystal are clear, turquoise, pink, or lime green, and they all come with medium nibs. The winner also gets to choose from the 5 different colors of Pelican Short International cartridges. Those are Brilliant Black, Royal Blue, Brilliant Red, Turquoise, and Violet. They're all really pretty colors.
Yep, they're nice.
We'll toss in... Sorry?
They're nice. Nice.
Yeah. We'll toss in one of the newly designed notebooks, and you're all set.
Yep, pen, paper, and ink, all to the winner.
Not bad. Send your entry in the form of a postcard or a letter or a note card, Christmas card, Raisin Bran box, whatever.
Something.
No emails, no texts, bilers, or other electronic entries allowed. Limit 1 per person, please. Do include your email address on your entry so that we can contact you if you are the winner. International entries are absolutely allowed and encouraged.
And probably impossible at this point.
Yeah. And as a personal favor, please let me know what ink you used because I'm really having a lot of fun with the different inks. So mail them to us at Anderson Pens Back to School Giveaway, P.O. Box 732, Appleton, Wisconsin, 54912.
And we'll draw the winner at random during the podcast. So anything else? I think that should probably do it for this week.
That's enough until Sunday.
Yeah, we got to save something for Sunday's podcast.
For a couple days from now.
Comments, suggestions for topics. Use your pens. Write to us. Anderson Pens, P.O. Box 732, Appleton, Wisconsin, 54912.
Or catch us online.
Email Brian at andersonpens.net.
Or Lisa at andersonpens.net.
You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/AndersonPens.
Of course, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/AndersonPens.
And we're on the internet, of course, on the web, andersonpens.net.
We also have a blog you should check out, andersonpens.net/blog.
And join our mailing list for advance notice of upcoming events or pre-orders. Thanks for listening to our podcast. See you in a couple days.
Bye.
Bye.